Hey, did you guys see this shit? I guess ICE just raided a Nebraska meat packing plant. And overnight, 80% of their workforce was gone. And if you want to know why, it's because they weren't supposed to fucking be there in the first place. And you want to know what happened next? Dozens of Nebraskans lined up to take those jobs. Glen Valley Foods was flooded with locals ready to work. Proud Americans stepping the fuck up. Love hearing that. But here's what pisses me off. That video, the video of the raid that shows all those oppressed illegal immigrants in handcuffs and this one little spoiled punk-ass kid flipping off the camera. Now, that's entitlement. Can you fucking imagine? And before you lefties start lighting up my comments, calling me a racist or a fascist or a piece of shit or whatever other slur you guys are calling people who don't agree with you and have a difference of opinion this week, maybe you should take the time to understand my position on this. Because here's what you should know about me. I firmly believe in law and order. And if you come to America, there is a process. You can follow it. Anybody can. Millions have. But if you break in illegally, you are a burglar. Simple as that. I can't go break into your country and demand free shit. Why should you be able to do that to us? If I trespassed into Mexico, I'd be arrested. If I crossed into Canada illegally, same thing. But here, they expect amnesty and free healthcare, free education, free fucking everything, all on your dime. And see, I'm just not okay with that. So I hope this little punk flipping off the camera after he got caught burglarizing our country gets exactly what he deserves. And here's what the media won't tell you. Americans do want those jobs. Just not at garbage wages competing against illegals. You clear them out and watch how fast Americans step up. Nebraska proved it. Meanwhile, our politicians throw the book at you for a fucking speeding ticket, but they look the other way when people use fake social security numbers to steal American wages. That's the reality of it. And don't give me this fucking sob story about how we need them when we've got veterans sleeping in the streets. We've got mothers working double shifts just to keep the fucking lights on. And we've got teenagers who are just desperate at a shot at their first job, but they can't get it. And yet somehow, the priority is making sure that some cartel-connected asylum seeker can keep packing meat in Nebraska. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And the thing that gets me the most, the smug middle finger in that arrest photo. That's not somebody thanking you for the opportunity that this great American nation has afforded them. That's contempt from some little shit who got caught doing what he shouldn't have been doing. That's someone laughing in your face for letting them get away with it for this long. And this whole situation should piss you off. Not because it happened in Nebraska, but because it's happening fucking everywhere. And every time you see an illegal alien working a job, understand this. That paycheck could be in the pocket of an American family. That tax revenue could be funding your kid's school instead of getting wired out of this country. The solution isn't complicated. Enforce the damn law. Clear the jobs. Hire Americans. That's it. It worked in Nebraska, and it'll work everywhere else too.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Our state has, in fact, gone bankrupt. Due to his tariffs and the loss of all of our migrant farm workers, our state has lost over $500 million. It's so bad that Governor Pillen had to call and ask him for a bailout, and we don't know if he's going to give it to us. My husband and I did used to own a farm here in Nebraska, and thanks to the loss of all the workers, we went bankrupt, and bankruptcies in our state overall are at a record high right now. It's still just so weird to me because we all voted red. Nebraska, every county, every district overwhelmingly voted red, and that seems to have been the reason that we're all out of business now. And that just doesn't make that much sense to me. If you vote for a party, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they pass policies that will help you stay out of bankruptcy? And it's not just the farms, but the whole state is going under because we voted red. When you're a farming family like mine, I can see now that it is important to think before you vote.
Hey, Nebraska, is this you? Come on up to the front of the classroom. I have some information for you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So I know that when you elected Donald Trump, you decided to put all of your apprehensions aside and elect a person who was clear about his intentions. He was going to get rid of undocumented immigrants, which would cause your primary industry, the agriculture industry, to go down. Then he decided to do away with the farm subsidies, basically welfare, that would just annihilate farmers in Nebraska. But wait, there's more. Those two things are just the tip of the iceberg. I was told from a well-placed source that you guys are considering bankruptcy in the not too distant future. They said 6 months or so. So if you combine all of that bad news with these people deciding to vote against you who desperately need health care, they are and will and have voted for a framework of a budget that would basically annihilate Medicaid in your state. Let me give you a secret. I don't know if you know this, but over 341,000 residents in Nebraska are on Medicaid. That represents $3.7 billion of revenue, of money, of spending that goes to the state of Nebraska for health care. And this is not just health care, just ad nauseum. This is health care that goes to take care of patients and then also goes to fund hospitals in a rural state, hospitals that are desperately needed. Now, this is the kicker. Of that $3 billion or so that goes into the state, the federal government picks up 69%. In essence, only 30% of that money you have to contribute. But the problem is, since you're going bankrupt and all, you're not going to be able to contribute that. You have come into the zone of FAFO. Unfortunately, that map, this map, is going to be your downfall.
Montana and Nebraska farmers are now bankrupt. Why can't they just fucking work harder? Like, bro, why the hell are they trying to, like, get handouts and shit, bro? Yeah, you're bankrupt. Fucking pull yourself out by your bootstraps and work harder. Like, this has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in a while. Like, bro, they need to stop playing the fucking victim. Like, yeah, everybody has gone bankrupt. Everybody's been broke before. Stop playing the victim, bro. Like, on God, at this point, I really just think that they want fucking handouts or something. Like, y'all just need to focus on yourself first. Stop focusing on, like, other people. Come on now. Like, y'all fucking voted for this. You get what you get.
We need trade deals as fast as we can for Nebraska. We're an export state, and our corn and soybeans right now are being shut out of the market, and that's why Nebraska is on its heels right now. We've lost about 6% of our GDP, according to the economic numbers that are official, and that's not a good sign. And so if we can get some tariff deals and get these markets open back up, ultimately that's what we want.
So it's official right now that Nebraska is bankrupt. They've declared their economy, their businesses, everything bankrupt. I think at this point in time, I feel Nebraska really needs tissue for their issue, because whatever they are going through right now, they brought it on themselves. Almost all the farm workers, the farm owners, every citizen of the city of Nebraska voted for this government, and they are getting what they voted for. They got their fuck around find out as soon as it took off. Because right now, a lot of people in Nebraska are crying, farm owners are crying, construction site owners are crying. Right now, a lot of the citizens, a lot of the people are now lined up, taking up those jobs that ordinarily they wouldn't do. They are now going for it. That is what you get when you really, really do what you're not supposed to do. Nebraska, you voted for your issue, right? And that's why I said you need tissue for your issue. So let's keep watching as they keep blabbing, and I will be back with the commentaries. I hope you've subscribed, you've liked, right? Please take cool and expect me.
So once again, I'm getting comments on a video that I made like 6 months ago about Nebraska. And there was all you might remember there were all these videos going out around with like the tag, does anyone care about Nebraska? And there were people making videos talking about Nebraska ranchers, specifically Nebraska ranchers and farmers going bankrupt in 6 months. And I was trying to find something that like backed this up, some sort of data, something outside of just TikTok videos talking about it. I couldn't find it. And so I made a video asking for people to like send me anything that they had, kind of proving that this was an actual issue and not just like a TikTok thing. And if you follow me, I can't sneeze without being snarky. So it's not like I don't want to act like I was just asking in totally good faith, because I'm capable of looking for things, and I felt like it wasn't out there. I know how to research stuff. And like I had said in that video, there are journalists in Nebraska, and so if this was like a real problem, there would at least be an article about it. There'd be something, But but I was really asking in earnest, like, if you do have some evidence and some data, please, I want to see it. No one had anything. And I made another video shortly after that, kind of getting into like, just because we really want to see Trump supporters, accept that they fucked up and post about it and talk about it. Like, that's not an excuse to spread misinformation and just make up things, because it was all kind of tied into this fuck around and find out discourse that was happening at the time. Anyway, point is, this video is starting to pick up views again, and I'm getting a lot of comments that are like, well, this aged well, or how do you feel about this now? Like, the implication that it has proven to be true. So two things about that. One, at the time, I was asking for data and proof that it was true. No one had any data or proof that it was true. I feel fine about that. Even if, like, suddenly Nebraska ranchers were going bankrupt en masse now, I would still feel fine about the video, because I wanted the data, I wanted the proof of where this was coming from, and no one had it. Like, that was like the point. Just because something like pans out, if it does, to be true, the point of the video was I wanted to know where we were getting this information from. But the second part is, I still can't find anything that says this is true. And so I'm wondering, like, why so many people are commenting that. Because I found some stuff about, like, the Nebraska, like, the state treasury facing a shortfall. But that seems to be largely tied to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which, as you know, was passed this summer, right? There was not, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was not a thing in, I think that video, I made it in, like, March. And at the time, a lot of that was tied, the videos were saying it was related to Trump's immigration policies. And I know that there is concern about, like, labor shortages in the agricultural sector due to the immigration crackdown. But, like, again, data and proof, and, like, you know what I mean? That's what I wanted, and that's still what I want. So I'm putting this out there again, asking.
I am once again asking
in earnest, like, does anyone have anything that I'm missing here? Because I still, like I said, I can't really find anything about, like, and again, this is about the ranchers specifically, facing, like, widespread bankruptcy due to something, well, I guess related to Trump. Because that was kind of the other part that annoyed me. Like, ranchers and farmers across the United States are facing, like, a lot of difficulty and a lot of trouble. And it pisses me off that people are treating that like it's a new problem that Trump started. Don't get me wrong, Trump's making it worse. But Democrats and Republicans have been in the pocket of big ag for decades and are responsible for much, and really the majority of the issues facing small to medium-sized farms in the United States and family-owned farms in the United States. And these are things that predated Trump, like, significantly, and which are certainly only going to get worse under Trump, but which would have also gotten worse under Harris. And so it does drive me insane that it's like you can go and pick things and be like, yeah, they're facing X, Y, and Z problems. But I think, like, the missing part of it is, like, how that's related to Trump. And again, like, I knowing what I know about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and everything that Trump has done to, like, things like the Department of Agriculture and to the CRP program and all these, like, things that are really important to small and medium-sized farms. I know that Trump is harming America's farmers, not to mention tariffs. But I just mean, like, this stuff that's tied to what was happening 6 months ago, I still have seen zero proof of it. And so I'm wondering why I'm getting all these comments that are, like, acting like I was wrong at the time. I don't feel like I was. I don't mind being wrong. Just fucking prove it.
So the news out of Nebraska just keeps getting worse every day. I got a lot of responses to my video yesterday about how all the farmers are going bankrupt and how Governor Pillen requested for a bailout for our state. Well, it ends up that they're not going to grant the bailout to help us. So after we all voted red and elected all these people, they're not going to do anything to help us. And I learned a lot yesterday from all the comments on my video. It seems like a lot of the blue states, especially California, are actually the ones subsidizing and keeping some of us red states alive that are falling by the wayside, which is weird because I've always heard bad things about California. But yeah, it turns out that they have an $80 billion surplus every year that they pay into the United States, and all of us welfare states like Nebraska actually benefit from California doing so well. And you know, they're just a blue state. They're just solid blue, and they do better than all of the other states, especially Nebraska. So I'm starting to rethink everything I've been told in my life.
So Nebraska voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. They didn't vote for him once. They voted for him time and time and time again. They felt that they were making a wise decision, but it turns out that this was probably the worst decision they could have ever made. The nuts and bolts, the core of their economy, the agriculture industry, is absolutely being annihilated as a result of their vote.
Right now, Nebraska has all sorts of challenges are cropping up for Nebraska farmers. The Nebraska Farmers Union says producers are facing the toughest time in decades.
Their costs are rising, but commodity prices are falling, meaning they can't really turn a profit, and that's hurting the rest of the state's economy. Channel 8's Jake Holman joins us live after talking with a local farmer. Jake, what'd you find out?
Yeah, Rod, Sophia, the GDP numbers for the first quarter of 2025, which is another tool, a measurement to estimate the size of the economy. It does not paint a pretty picture for the state of Nebraska here, and in large part because of the largest industry, which is agriculture. Now, tonight we hear how one farmer is coping with these challenges.
With the interest rates where they are right now, it's putting everybody into a bind.
Bill Landon is one of the many farmers in Nebraska who's in a tight spot financially. According to a report from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, Nebraska's gross domestic product fell more than 6% in the first quarter, tied with Iowa for the largest decrease in the nation. And it's because of losses in agriculture.
Now, you remember Don Bacon, the Republican from Nebraska? He's even saying the quiet part aloud. Nebraska's in trouble, and it owes a lot to the tariff policy and all the bullshit that Donald Trump has enacted on that state. So Don, my man, don't be surprised when everyone told you, just like your MAGA cohorts in your state, everyone told you that this was going to be the case, but yet you failed to listen. My mother would always say, and I think she was a genius, she would always say, if you lie down with dogs, you will get fleas. Well, Nebraska, you laid down with Donald Trump. You laid down with Donald Trump, knowing what his policies were, knowing his Project 2025 tendencies, and you now have fleas. In reality, this is not about red or blue. This is about business, the business of politics. And I believe that there is a nefarious plan to take family farms. And I'm talking about family farms. And it is based on causing them to go bankrupt, coming in with the hedge funds, and buying at a fire sale price. So Nebraska, you got exactly what you voted for.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to be having our own alligator Alcatraz in McCook, Nebraska, called the Cornhusker Clink. Pause to read. Okay, so what I find insanely frustrating about this is that apparently we don't have the money to actually economically help people in this state. But what we can do is we can acquiesce to Trump and Kristi Noem and also subjugate immigrants in this country. We have money for that, but we don't have money to actually help people in our state. And I don't know, it's just one of those things that I think we need to keep in mind is that they are not for us. This is deeply concerning.
Nebraska needs help right now. Imagine this Nebraska sinking. Imagine farmers crying out for how they are going into bankruptcy already. And then people are laughing at them. A lot of people are saying that Nebraskans need tissue for their issue. Come on, why? They need help. They said they have applied for for money from the government and they're not saying anything. They're crying their crops, everything. If anything happened to Nebraska farms, it's going to affect the whole of America, because these people are the core of agriculture in America. That is just it. I think right now everybody should forget the whole MAGA shit and come to their aid. But the thing is, right now nobody even give a fuck about them, because people are already angry, because these people have voted for the orange man countless of times, voted for him countless of times. Even when he was deporting people, they were supporting him. They never knew it will affect them, it will affect their economy. Many things has gone wrong, has gone down in Nebraska as we speak. Farm, hospital, everything. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.